All right, let's open the floor. Welcome everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you guys can hear me. If you guys are having trouble hearing me, give me...
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there we go. Awesome, excellent. All right, so let's get started with our little icebreaker. I'm just gonna pause the music for a second so that you guys can hear me. All right, so what we're doing right now is our first icebreaker for part 2. So if you're not sure where to find us, just look for the part 2 section, or you could also double click on my initials, which is Melanie, and then you could just toggle right to where I am. So we're going to create a dating profile. So it doesn't matter if you're looking for a relationship or not. This is just the icebreaker of sharing 3 facts about yourself. And if you want to take some liberties here to be creative, feel free. You could also swap the images that we have here on the mobile phones with either, your portrait or even just a cartoon character that you like. So how to do that is you click on the image and you'll see a little toolbar pop up. And then you'll see an icon that looks like 2 arrows, like recycling, and you can actually replace the image with one that's on your device. So give it a try and fill out the 3 sticky notes with just 3 tidbit facts that are interesting about yourself. And also, if you want to change the name of the mobile phone screen to make it look like it's your real dating profile, you could put your name or your nickname and also a fictitious age if you want to. Alrighty, so we'll give you 10 minutes to do that. I'm going to start the agenda. And if you need help, just let us know in the chat or you can unmute your mic. And a little tip for those of you trying to get the levels just right, um, if that black background is in the way, you can always delete it and then bring your images to the very back. And there you go. You have all the buttons appearing on top. Amazing, guys. And if you want to crop your images, you click on your image and you can actually select the crop option from the toolbar. And then you can crop your photos to make it look all very perfect. Amazing. As soon as we get 3 facts, we'll start to take up the answers as a group about midway into the icebreaker. So we'll give you about 2 minutes to do that.
Somebody else not like us, right? Like, is it like a persona?
Oh,
Hi, yes. What is your question again?
So I was wondering whether the profile needs to be like our actual profile.
Oh, no. So, yeah, this is just like a fun little icebreaker. Like, it's like as if you, let's say, if you are signing up for Bumble.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
All right.
Just 3 fun facts about yourself.
yeah, you could use your own portrait or maybe a portrait of like a cartoon character or a TV show character. Hopefully you're using pictures of yourself and not other people. We just want to make sure we're not sharing information that doesn't expose anyone's identity. So you could totally be anonymous if you'd like to.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're about 6 minutes into the icebreaker. We're going to start taking up the answers. So if you're still working on your sticky notes and your 3 facts, keep working on it. We'll just start off with Claire. And I'm just going to pause the music so that we can hear and listen in on what Claire has to say. So Claire, do you want to walk us through your dating profile?
Yeah, of course. So we all met yesterday, but again, I'm Claire. 32 years old. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, but I've been living near New York City area for the past 15 plus years. And I love traveling, of course, and I actually love solo travel a lot just because my friends usually are busy. Um, and I visited Portugal last April, and I was in San Diego recently too. So my next trip is probably Japan in September, which I'm super excited. And when I went to Japan last time back in 2019, I went to visit a haunted house by myself on a very eerie rainy day in Yokohama, and I was the only person at the attraction. Kind of scary, and like the people were like, "Hello," and I'm just like, "Is it really scary?" They look at me like, "Yeah, just please go inside." So
Yeah, actually, you said you're going to Japan in September. I might actually be going in October. You should totally come. We should go together. If you have the time.
wait, isn't going or and let me know because I speak Japanese if you need someone to help you translate.
Okay, cool. That would be awesome. Okay, so on to my profile. Okay, so those of you who already know me, I'm Melanie. 36 years old. I know, had a recent birthday, so I definitely am not. I'm in denial about my age. I wish I was not 36. I feel so old. Um, But okay, three fun facts about me is I'm actually in a relationship, not looking for a date. So my dating profile is for friendships only. And then my next fun fact about me is I love the Final Fantasy series. I was talking about it with Claire earlier today. I was playing Final Fantasy 16 last night, and it's such an amazing game. I'm already 50% done, and I think I'm going to finish it probably by the end of this weekend. Who knows? And another fun fact about me is I used to live in London, UK for about 2 years. It was a real fun trip for me. And I went there by myself as well. So I am kind of like a solo traveler like Claire is. And does anyone else want to volunteer to go next? Whoever is ready?
Wait, I could go next.
Yeah, sure, go on.
So my name is Hansel. I enjoy watching movies. I love to travel, experience new cultures, cities, and just do a lot of local stuff if possible, and big foodie at heart.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Hansel. And Nee, are you ready to go next? Or if anyone else is ready to go next, I'll let anyone jump in.
I can go next. Hi, I'm Asma. I love traveling. Um, and I also love trying new restaurants, cafes, and dessert shops. A lot of my simple pleasures are just going for little walks. And I'm a Gemini and I talk a lot.
I'm a Gemini too, and I try not to talk a lot, but I probably do.
It's like my weakness, so that's why I just put it on my profile because I'm like I talk a lot. So just like no, I talk a lot.
Totally can
Claire
relate.
knows this.
Yeah, you're so funny, girl.
Okay, so anyone else would like to go next?
Sure, I can go. So I'm Dan. I'm 42. I am a dog parent to a really, really cute golden retriever. And I enjoy sci fi stories that kind of imagine how humanity and technology are going to change each other over the longer course of time. And I'm also really, really passionate about community. Like I've lived in 4 different places in the US, and I really believe that like a community is only going to be as vibrant as the people there who make it. So that's something that is really a big deal to me.
Okay, thanks for sharing that, Dan. Nice to see you do a sprint. I've talked to you before, and yeah, really interested to see what your prototypes are going to look like as well. But thanks for sharing that.
Great.
Um,
Yeah.
and Nee, are you ready to share your answers?
Uh, yes. So I am Nee. I'm actually not from the US, so but I've moved here and been living in the US for 9 years, and so I actually met my husband during my college, and then yeah, we didn't meet on dating apps, so I don't have much experience with dating apps at all. Like yeah, and currently I'm not on any dating apps either because yeah, like my status is married, so I really love gaming and drawing in my free times, and I also share um, hobbies with like the Japanese food and like culture and traveling. Anything about Japan is it's just fascinating, and and I also have a special love for Germany for some reason, and yeah, I don't know how, but I also ended up with my husband origin from Germany, so it was just yeah, everything just yeah, it just worked it out. But um, I also own a Discord community where I connect people of my origin who are Vietnamese and like who are Vietnamese who are born in the U.S. or overseas Vietnamese who stay in a country beside like out of Vietnam. But the majority of the people in my community they live in Vietnam though, but then the population of the community is growing in terms of overseas Vietnamese.
Mm.
So yeah, that's my
Yeah, thanks
basic
for sharing that.
progress.
Have you been to Germany?
I haven't been to Germany, but like since I was little, like when I watched the World Cup, I just, yeah, I think I also follow their uh, cultures and like, I just look at, you know, the news online or stuff like, I read about them, and so I will like the travel to Germany is one of my bucket list bullets. So
Yeah,
I'll definitely, yeah.
I've been to
I
Berlin. You would love it.
oh cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested in their culture as well, and like their Oktoberfest. I bought an outfit for it already. I just need to, actually go at some point when I with my husband. I hope so.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like we all kind of have a lot in common here. So hopefully, if you guys see each other on the Discord server, definitely like drop in and say hi. Because I would love to extend this conversation a little bit more and get to know all of you. But we also have to get on to the next item on our agenda. So thanks for doing this icebreaker. Hopefully, you guys, got a chance to find out what you guys have in common and maybe find out about each other's Discord communities. I mean, Dan's looking for community. I mean, he may not be Vietnamese, but who knows? Maybe he might have interest in that culture. All right, so let's move on to, the next part of our agenda. My apologies, my screen is a little bit laggy. All right, so this is going to be Claire's. Oh wait, no, it's a recap of part two. Right. So between me and Claire, we're just going to quickly kind of talk about what we did yesterday. So for those of you that were here for the whole session, we did some mapping exercises to figure out what our main hypothesis is. And right now, my screen is, for some reason, very frozen. So forgive me for pausing. Um, I'm just gonna. There we go. All right. So for yesterday, we did our hypothesis together as a team, and we decided to target a problem which is happening, which is why we think ghosting is happening. Is usually because the conversation either goes stale and people are maybe losing touch or not knowing how to, adequately close conversations and end, ongoing relationships or potential relationships by giving them some kind of closure. Or we have some kind of prompt that's going to help them to stay engaged in the conversation so that they don't end up ghosting someone. I'm going to scroll up to the hypothesis frame just to reiterate what we did. Apologies for the janky kind of controls here. I'm just having a laggy system, so it's not really uh, responding to my movements. There we go. So there's the hypothesis. I'm going to rephrase it to we believe users want a dating app that will help them to, um, sorry, I'm going to zoom in. Help them to, spark the conversation or help people to create that spark when communicating with the other person at times when during the initial conversation, things are not really super interesting. And we're going to do that by having better conversations so that they could, stop losing interest in the people that they're actually communicating with. So that is our main hypothesis, and that's like what we're going to be focused on when creating a solution for our product. So you might find that as you're designing a solution, you might want to stray away from the topic or move away from the original goal. But it's really important to stay focused on the goal as much as possible and to also validate with your prototype how your solution is going to adequately solve this problem. So it's important to know this because once we are going into the next stages of kind of working out how our solution is going to work, we're going to be considering the user's journey. So that means we need to be thinking about Theodore and his needs. And I don't know, Claire, if you could maybe copy and paste or pull down the persona that we worked on yesterday so that we have like a reference that we could just easily scroll to. Are you able to do that? Oh, I don't think we heard you on mic. Can you say that again if you were talking?
Yeah, I said yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sorry for the
I'm
issues.
butterbean jank.
Yeah, I think I might be having connection issues. But I'm still here, right?
Yep, you're still here.
Okay, cool. All right, so while Claire is doing that, before we jump into this mapping exercise, do you guys have any questions for me as for what we did yesterday? Okay, so far that's a no. Crossing my fingers, it's not a connection issue, but we're gonna move on to the next part of this mapping exercise, which is the day in the life of. And Claire's just gonna keep the persona just as a reference point, just so that we don't forget what the goals of our user is and what their frustrations are, and how we're going to build a better app that's gonna address their needs. Okay. So I will leave it up to Claire now to begin the day in the life activity. I'm just going to start the timer for 25 minutes, which is our halfway point. And then after that point, we'll decide whether we're going ahead of time or whether we have enough time to finish. Just trying to make sure that we're staying on time. Cool. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So, is everyone here on the map? Just making sure. Yeah. Okay. So, have anyone of you done user journey mappings exercises before? If yes, you can give me a thumbs up. If not, you can also give me a thumbs down. See, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, I see one thumbs down. Okay. So day in the life of is actually a different, it's one of the kind of the many variations of the user journey map. But in this case, we are trying to put ourselves into our personas shoes, basically trying to empathize and like experience like what their day-to-day life would be, and also tying into their behaviors and goals into how we would design a product that caters to their needs and also solve their problem. So we'll focus on three phases, which is beginning of the day, midday, and end of day, and we'll be looking into what are some user goals, what are some of the goals and tasks that they will be doing throughout the day that ties into them using potentially using a dating app, and then what are some unexpected problem like unusual circumstances or even crises that might occur to a persona. Touch points, basically how are they interacting, with a certain device, or maybe a certain network and platform, right? And then the kind of information and data that our persona will receive or produce throughout the day, and then also some pain relievers, to help them. Basically, us trying to think of how we can like counter the problem that they run into throughout the day. Before we begin, any questions about this exercise? No. Okay, awesome. So let's start at the beginning of the day. And then again, we'll have about 10 minutes for the beginning of the day, and then we'll move on to mid and end of day. So we can just grab a sticky, start with the user goals. So in the beginning of the day, let's put ourselves into our persona's perspective. What would Theodore be trying to do, or what is the goal that he's trying to achieve in the beginning of the day? And don't be shy, grab a stick. So you can grab one of the yellow stickies and just generate your idea, and then you can also unmute yourself to talk about why you think this is some kind of goal or task that Theodore is having in his mind.
Claire, can I
Yes.
answer that? Yeah. I don't know if it was necessary to write down in sticky note, but my thoughts on Theodore and starting his day might be, since he's involved in music, either checking his schedule for practice or recording,
Yep.
or something related to his profession. Maybe he would need to travel, or maybe he would need to talk with his agents or band members to see what's up and coming.
I can write it down for you. So let's see. Checking his schedule. What was the other one again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Anything related to his music, maybe checking his schedule, practice. Maybe he's traveling for a gig, or maybe he's performing locally.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Awesome. Anyone else? Again, if you can add on to anything on this, please go ahead. But if you can also unmute yourself to talk about what do you think Theodore will be trying to accomplish?
I think he might be either early in the day, maybe not first thing, but early in the day, he might be like checking up on news, and also maybe checking up on music news too.
Yeah.
Like the profile says he's interested in politics, so he's probably going to be like getting up to speed on how the day is starting.
Yeah.
But since he's in music, he also probably wants to be aware of like what are the new releases that are coming out this week that people are really talking about and things like that.
Yep. That's great. If you can add that onto the sticky too. Are you having trouble with adding to the sticky notes?
You know, I am. I keep having like a icon when I hover over it. I may try to like refresh the browser and see if it's just in a weird UI state.
No problem. I can help you add the sticky if that's the case.
Okay.
Wonderful and music related news. Did that come up? Because I have a lag too. Okay, great. Okay, if not, do we have any more? If not, let's move on. We're running a bit low of time. I see Asma wrote something.
Oh, I just said like reviewing artist rank stats, how many listeners his band has on Spotify.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. So let's move on to unexpected problem. Like, what are something unusual that Theodore could potentially run into, or something bad that can affect his mental health, or even how he feel about his day. Okay, so looks like we have get sick or raspy voice before a show. Maybe they have to cancel, and then there's. Oh wow, interesting. There might be a chance that the artist might get blackmailed. That's very stressful. Any other music style that he doesn't want to play is getting really pop? Yeah, that could be a problem. Okay, so let's move on to the touch points. So let's think of how is Fyodor interacting. What is he interacting with? What do you think he's on? So give you a hint, right? What does he use? He uses iOS, right? So what does that mean? So he would use his phone. So he has an iPhone. So he would use his mobile device, and then also like kind of ties back into some of the user goals that we like generated earlier. How would he read? Where would he read the news? You know, how would he receive? Maybe how would he receive information of like performing shows that are being canceled? Mm-hmm. Yep. It's the face ID for verification. Sound okay? SoundCloud. Yep. Yeah. So it's important to consider all these different touch points that Fyodor will interact because we can sort of tie this into how we can design the product that caters to his needs, right? So let's move on to what kind of information or data would Fyodor receive or produce? Again, I think we can tie this back into the goals and some of the unexpected problem that he might run into. And also feel free to unmute yourself to explain it as well. So in terms of information, right? So we think Fyodor may be checking his schedule. So in a on the receiving perspective, he's probably what information is he receiving when he's reading? What is he reading? So I would say probably music or news media, right? And then also in the producing end, what kind of information would he be producing? So this can also even be maybe he's sending out emails, maybe he's making calls, right? Calendars, reminders, content, yep, analytics. Yeah, these are all really great. Nice. Okay. So let's tie this back into the unexpected problem, right? Something that we assume that Fyodor might run into. So we can think of a scenario of how can we, what is something that we can help Fyodor feel better in situations like that? Or what is something that he can potentially do to alleviate the stress or based on these crisis or unusual circumstances that he might encounter? So think of maybe would he run into issues while connecting his device, maybe technical issues, difficulties?
we decided what instruments he plays, or is he like a vocalist?
It's just a bit start using a dating app in during like midday,
Gotcha.
and then we can kind of consider like what are some of the goals that he have when he's interacting with this dating app. So we have read or respond to messages from dating apps, yes. And then we have might be tie up in studio sessions, need to prioritize music, not have distractions. That's actually really, really interesting, yeah. Because this is something that we can consider while we are designing this dating app product. With that in mind, maybe, we can think of like how we can reflect and let the other users know that they're busy. It doesn't mean that they're ignoring them, right? And then he could try to order lunch and using his digital wallet. Yeah, boy gotta eat.
I know, like on Hinge, there's a feature where where it can show like your online status,
Hmm.
like when you were last on the app. But like it only works if your status is on. So if my status was on, then I could see when a guy's status was on, like when he was last on the app.
Right.
But like I feel like it could probably be misleading because it's like, what if I don't know if it works if your app is open on your phone, but like you're not on the app.
That's very true, yeah.
So I don't know, like I maybe there could be like an app feature that like if you are serious about dating, you could probably put like the times where you're usually available, or if the AI can like frequently like pick up like, yeah, usually frequently responds or something.
Yeah. No, that could be a good idea. I think something that made me think maybe it's like sometimes like if you use Slack might allow you to set yourself as like away, available or something. Again, just an idea, right? Okay, let's move on to problems. What are some unusual circumstances and crises that Theodore might run into? Again, ties back into the task and goals that we just ideated. So let's think of it in this perspective. So he's reading and responding to messages from dating apps. What can something that can potentially go wrong? Again, we can be creatively thinking of like anything that can negatively affect Theodore in this case. Okay, so something disagreement in messages. Long wait time for casual lunch date. Oh yeah, and then voice too raspy to record, and the sessions got cut short. And he's so yeah, yep. He could be frustrated. He could be frustrated too. He's gets ghosted again because talking too much about his band. Oh no, that's really sad. Okay, let's move on to the touch points. And in this case, it's probably pretty similar to in the beginning of the day, I would say.
Claire, in like a real life situation,
Mm-hmm.
would we typically maybe like survey artists who are on apps to see where they're at?
I guess it depends on the context. Like, what would you want to find out?
Like what a day in the life is like for an artist.
Like just to understand more about like their, like how music career affects their
day-to-day life. Because I know there's different apps, like, you know, Hinge is for like,
yeah,
anyone can join Hinge. You don't need to be approved on it. But like there's apps like, God, I sound like I've been like on every single app, but I really haven't. There's like The League, which is for like intellectuals,
yes.
which everyone's an intellectual, but you have to get approved to be on it. And then there's like Raya, where it's more exclusive people, like artists and you know, influencers, etc. And on these apps, like people often, like on The League, for instance, and on Raya, like we match, but no one really starts a conversation.
That's actually very good perspective.
So it's kind of just like you pay for those apps too. So like I did Raya for like a month, and then I just canceled my subscription because I was like, well, I'm not really getting asked out.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting ghosted. It's just I'm not getting asked out, and like I don't really want to waste my dollars on this kind of app when I could just be putting that towards anything else.
Of course, yeah. I think this is actually a pretty good setup for us to think, because like in this in this case, you know, we can basically think of if we want to just maybe like have a specific focus on this target audience. Like maybe like you said, we're focusing on artists, musicians, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a dating platform for people with, you know, in the creative careers like that.
Yeah, like if this were to be for like improving Raya and matches and talking to people, like would we be surveying and interviewing like people who use the Raya app and explain like I'm a creator and this is my schedule, and like I'm just not getting responses like I like to. I intentionally joined this app because there are also artists and creators on this app, and I want to talk to those people because they are more understanding of my schedule.
Yeah, no, this is great. Don't forget about that. I think this could be a really interesting direction that we can like
in it. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, because like we're very like broad right now, but I do think like this could probably be applied in some state like Raya, because he is an artist and he probably wants to date artists or influencers or someone who's just like on his kind of level.
Yeah.
And is a creator essentially. So just a thought. Just want to know like what we actually survey. So just talking my thoughts.
Yeah. So usually in like if you are creating a brand new product, and yes, like you would probably want to make some hypothesis and then absolutely do some surveying to gather like enough like research data.
Yeah.
To support your hypothesis, right? And then it will be really interesting to find out, you know, like what were your assumptions that were proved wrong because maybe they have a different mindset because, you know, their needs are so different because of their career, or maybe they do have share some commonalities like with like the general public of like a regular like audience, right? So yes. So surveying, it's a huge part of like user research. Um, there's also like focus groups too that you can do depending on how further deep you are in the UX design and the UX product perspective.
Yeah.
So, but it's so important to gather information to find out if what we thought, you know, are doing is even on the right track, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut the conversation short, but just paying attention to time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll extend the
So I think
timer for
we're
like another
cutting.
10 minutes.
Yeah. So let's just finish up the midday.
Mm-hmm.
But because we still have lots of activities after, so we'll just wrap it up at the midday. Um. So let's look at the screens. Well, again, we are thinking of what kind of information and data um, theater would produce or receive. Again, kind of ties back into um, the task and the goals that we ideated earlier. So yeah, so let's think of it in a more like data and information perspective, right? It's more like about what kind of information he's receiving and producing. For example, let's look at he's trying to respond to messages on dating apps. So in this case, it will be like messages or reaction or emojis, right? Or it can be even be some kind of content creation, like an Instagram post or something, you know. So I think we had like a little bit of a swap here, because I know it seems like we all put the touch points down in the information area. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, well let's wrap it up and finishing our midday with some pain points and pain relievers. Again, it kind of ties it back to, you know, what are the potential crises or even just on the tasking goals that Theodore is trying to accomplish. Like, what are some potential issues that he can run into, and then what is something that we can help him to alleviate that issue. Setting up his threads account, but band name already been taken. That is one big issue. Have to go with a different band name, yeah. Olivia Rhapsody voice by working on instrumental part. Yeah, that's right. Any other idea? Maybe that ties into something that he did when he's messaging on the dating apps. Anyone else? So we have sent a couple of messages on dating apps, but also look for new matches. Yes. What if he does get ghosted or blocked? Melanie, do we still have time to do the end of day, you think, or we should move on to the next?
Yeah, so I added 10 minutes and we have 6 minutes left. So maybe we can finish the last bit in 6 minutes.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap it up and finish the end of day. Again, similar to earlier. So it's like evening time now. What would Fyodor be trying to do at the end of the day? What are some of the goals and tasks? Making sure the venue is set up properly for tonight's performance. Yep. Like think of what else he would be trying to do before going to bed, after dinner. Trying to establish boundaries during conversation that he needs to reset. Ah. That's a pretty good one. Okay. And then let's think about what are some crises and unusual circumstances that he might run into again. Again, it kind of ties back into what we just ideated here to think of like what could go wrong. FaceTime date gets frustrated that he has to cancel. Yeah, if he gotta prioritize his work first. Anyone else? Difficulty with sound audio while on stage. Yeah, that would suck. Any other potential issues? Like what about meeting his date at the venue? Yeah, how could that go wrong? Or like wow, what was something good that's going wrong when you're setting boundaries during conversation? Okay, we have. She says she hates the music playing in the restaurant, but it's man, that would hurt. Shows up a little bit late for his day. Oh, okay, for the day for his show. Yep. So we have, and then for touch points, we have iPad, iPhone, AirPods. What else will he be interacting with on like a what platform or what equipment? Digital wallet for concert tickets and other things.
About
iMessage,
1 minute
FaceTime.
and 52 seconds left.
Yep, that's good. Okay, so last stretch. So let's think of what kind of information and data will Fyodor be producing and receiving at this point? Checking his social media channels. So again, maybe like social media stats, right? Or even like the data of maybe how many people watch. Maybe he did a live stream, and how many people. Yep. audience engagement stats on the show. Yep. Checking bands, hashtag before and after show. Yep. Great. Okay. Yeah, these are all good. So let's do the last round of pain points and pain relievers. So bump that his voice is raspy and the date is upset. Since the FaceTime date a selfie of him and Mads. Oh, okay, that's cute. Yes. Anyone else? Promoting his tour on a national platform, not going well. Talk with the vendors. Okay, yeah. Any other last bit of idea? We have about 14 seconds left. Okay, all right, we're done. So this is basically a quick, well, we did it in about 40 minutes. But essentially, we do want to put ourselves into the persona's perspective to understand what's going on in their day of the life, in their life perspective, and then kind of like ties into how we can design a product that can be best suited to be integrated into part of his day-to-day life, right? So this is just for us to have a better understanding in a more human perspective of in Theodore's shoes, and also based on his career profession. So I think we have a break now. Thank you all for working so well together in the last round. So let's all take a 5-minute break and we'll come back and we will do exciting crazy 8 wireframes after that. So see you all in 5 minutes.
Alrighty, break time is over. Let's get back to the next part of our agenda. Just so that I can make sure that everyone's with me, how many of you have done Crazy Eights before? Give me a thumbs up if you tried it.
Is everyone back?
Yeah, hopefully they're back. So far, we have one thumbs up for Crazy Eights, one thumbs down for they have not tried Crazy Eights before. Okay, some more people have tried Crazy Eights. Alrighty, so I'm gonna re-explain the basics so that everyone is aware. We're gonna do breakout sessions, which means that the teams that we were assigned from part 1 yesterday, we're gonna be in a different breakout group. So Team A is all going to be together and Team B will be together. And don't worry, we'll set up the rooms and we'll give you a chance to go to the rooms that you're supposed to. But for Crazy Eights in general, Crazy Eights is pretty cool. In 8 minutes, we're going to ask you to do some wireframe sketches. So you don't have to be super detailed. And we have a little example right here, if you're following my cursor, of what that kind of looks like. In 8 minutes, you're going to take these 8 rectangles and fill them up with sketches of what this app is going to look like. So we're going to be creating a dating app for Theodore, who is a musician and has some very important needs that needs to be addressed within the app itself. So in 8 minutes, we're going to try to, as best as we can, quickly draft out what that might look like. It could be a chat window message, it could be a message prompt, it could be a notification, it could be anything. And what we're going to do in our breakout groups is, after we finish drawing out 8 different wireframes, we're going to select our top 3 best. And to help you out with that, I'm going to make a little rectangle here just to show you how you can mark down which wireframes you want to select. So I'm going to make a rectangle right here. I'm going to give it like a nice bright red outline. You can copy and paste it if you want to use that later, and then you just put it over the kind of selection or the wireframe that you want to select as being your best. And within your breakout groups, you're going to, one by one, each team member is going to present their 3 best solutions. And after that person presents their 3 best solutions, the whole team is going to vote for just one wireframe that they think is the strongest. So we'll have to practice, drawing out wireframes very fast. We're going to have to practice, presenting. Don't worry about everything being perfect. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes at this stage. This is just to get us into the habit of not being too precious about our ideas, but moving forward with different ideas and experimenting as much as possible. So with that being said, does anyone have any questions about Crazy Eights or how this is going to work? Nope. Okay, so another thing that would be really interesting for you to know is how Miro works. So if you want to figure out how to make these wireframe sketches, just look at your toolbar on the left-hand side of the Miro screen. Not on Butter, but the Miro screen itself. And you should be able to find a pen tool, a little icon that looks like a pen. If you can't find it, click on the plus symbol, and then you could select pen from there. And I think there's a short command. Sorry, there's something in my throat. There might be a keyboard command to toggle it. I don't remember what it is. I think it's the letter P on your keyboard. So if you press the P on your keyboard, you'll be able to switch your tool from cursor to pen. If you prefer, let's just say, like, you just don't want to draw on a computer, like if you're on a laptop and you're using like the trackpad and it's awful for you, you could also use pen and paper and just take a picture of what you've done and upload it to the Miro board. Okay? So with that being said, just remember that Ni, Dan, and Asma is on Team A, and Hansel and Sirkwan, or Sirkwan. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. If you're here, sorry?
Sirikwan. It's Sirikwan. You got it right.
Sirikwan. Okay, Sirikwan on Team B. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, and me and Claire are going to be moderating each team. So I'm going to be moderating Team B. Claire's going to be moderating Team A. Once we're in the rooms, we'll start the counter for Crazy Eights. We'll make sure that you guys are ready. We'll start the counter, and then the craziness will begin. So apart from that, we're gonna jump into breakout groups. I hope you guys are prepared, and let's get going. Hi, Hansel. We're just waiting for Sir Kwan to join us.
Yeah, no problem, Melanie. Excited to start it off. Let's see. I was just on. I guess I did a quick Google search just to kind of compare like what screens would be crucial for the dating app.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Okay.
to meet you too.
So are we ready to get started with sketching?
I guess so.
If you want to test your pen function, you could always try like doing a little scribble outside of your frame just to see if it works. Just let me know when you're ready, and then I can start the timer, okay?
Okay.
Sure. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so do we just do the like a profile? Oh my gosh. This is bad.
It's okay. If you use the keyboard command for like Command Z or Control, I don't know what the Windows one is, but you could do the undo so that if you make a mistake, you could just go back and undo it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you could also zoom in if it's helpful for you so that you don't draw on other parts of the frame. Oh yeah, and I'll also lock the elements here so that it doesn't move while you're drawing. It should have been locked, but I'll lock them now.
Okay. So are the squares representative of the screen size, or are these just like icon sizes?
These are your rectangles, so you're going to be drawing 8 different wireframes, and each of these rectangles is where you're going to draw the wireframe. Okay?
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be oriented into any kind of like, I guess, ratio. You could freehand just draw whatever you think the screen should look like.
Okay.
Alrighty? Cool. So I'm going to start the timer. And I'm going to call out when 1 minute has passed. That way you know when to move on to the next screen. Okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. So let's start.
Okay.
Okay, so you're still working on the first wireframe, and I'll let you know when we move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm sorry. We should be on the 6th frame, or I'm sorry, the 5th one. I'm very sorry. I didn't call out the timings of the wireframes.
Or are we doing the same one? Like, are we in the same square together, or are we on different ones?
No, you
Or
could do a different screen for the next one. It's okay. So we can work on the next one, and then I'll call out 1 minute, and I'll extend the timer a little bit longer so that you can finish up the other wireframes. Okay, so now you should be on the next wireframe. That's been 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute has passed, so we'll move on to the next wireframe. Okay. And 1 minute is up. On to the next wireframe. Okay, 1 minute is up. Next to the next wireframe. So you should be working on the last wireframe. Don't worry if you're not finished, I'll give you another extra minute to finish. Okie dokie. I'm just gonna roll the timer back just for 1 extra minute, just to give you guys a little bit of a chance to finish up your wireframes. My apologies for missing the first minute. So I'm just gonna change the timer. Hold on, I'm gonna reset it to, there we go, 1 minute. So feel free to choose any wireframe you want to finish, and you can finish it within the 1 minute. Okay, we got 50 seconds. If you want to add some final touches, it's totally okay. Okay, it looks like we're all kind of done here. So I'm gonna wait for the timer to go down, and I'm gonna select off our tasks just to say that we've done our 8 wireframes. That's done. Cool. Next on our checklist is every participant, so that means you two, should select your top 3 wireframes that you feel are really well developed and you want to present. I'm just going to pause the music for a second so that we can concentrate. If you're wondering how to get this rectangle tool, you could go to the rectangle icon right underneath the sticky notes icon. It's like the shape icon, and you could actually select what kind of shape you want to create. So you could click and drag and change the colors of the rectangle, or you could just copy and paste what I've got over here and just slide it over the drawing that you want to choose. That is your best. I can help you out here. I'll just make a copy for you. Okay. And what we're going to do now is we're going to present and then also vote. So after one person presents their 3 wireframes, we begin voting for what we think is the best wireframe. Since it's only 2 of us here, let's just do a self vote for you, Hansel, and then I'll also vote to kind of help balance out the numbers so that we don't have, you know, a split or a tie between too many wireframes. Okay? So, Hansel, do you want to walk us through your three wireframes?
Yeah, sure. So the first would be the top, first one on the top row. That screen would be the initial screen, very similar to what most dating apps would have, some type of exploration page. You just want to go straight into it, not waste any time. The top half of it is supposed to be either one of two options where you just start swiping away into what you want, where you can just go into this continuous swiping action.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bottom half with the thumbnails are just profiles if you just want to have more of a bigger glance of options versus going individually. So you'll have more of a grid like view to explore profiles.
Okay.
The second screen would be the bottom row, first one. Yep, that one. So that one would be the message screen. So in the message screen, you have an option to do one of two ways, whether you feel comfortable messaging via text, or if you would like, you can send a recording as well. So those are just two options where you can message a individual or potential. And then the last screen, which is the six thumbnails, just returns to a version of the first screen where you just continue the activity of exploring and looking at more profiles.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. This is what very well done. So let's start voting. I'll give you guys about like 30 seconds to vote. So we're only going to vote once for what we think is the best wireframe. And Hansel, you could also vote for one wireframe that you think is the best as well. Okay? And to do that, we'd use these sticker emojis so that we can count them
Mhm.
all up. Alrighty?
Okay.
Okie dokie. So it looks like this one is the winner. And okay, now it's your turn, Siri Kwan.
Okay, hi. So, what I mainly wanted to focus on was the user being able to engage with the, I guess like the potential date, so to say. But I thought it would be more interesting if the potential dates could interact in like a TikTok fashion where they did like 10 to 15 videos, but they would still explore that potential date through a carousel. And so you're still just swiping left to right. But I thought it might be more easier to validate the potential dates if they submitted like reels instead. And then the other one that I wanted to focus on was just the messaging system, but it would only be done through prompts until the users both agree on the next page that they want to take it further through natural conversations. So it's kind of like at the beginning they can only talk to each other through prompts to like have an evil playing field, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's just what I wanted to explore.
Ooh, I love
Okay.
that.
And this wireframe, is this the same screen as this one? Is it like a chat?
Yeah, it's like this is the chat just using the prompts, and so that's why it's limited to like hearting or disagreeing, just simple up downs. And then when they're like, "Hey, I'm interested in getting to know you a little bit more and taking it outside of the prompts," then it has a little module come up like, "Hey, would you like to get to know me more? Yes or no?"
Okay, I see. Alrighty. So thanks for doing that. Let's vote for what we think is the strongest wireframe or sketch. And
Because I
yeah,
like
the
doing the
emojis are over
prompts
here.
with
I'll
with
move
like
them a little
people.
bit closer so it's easier to get.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a tie between all of these. So I'm gonna have to change my vote, and then select either one of these two which are winning. Um,
Is it possible to
oop,
distinguish a little bit more those two screens?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So like in the first one over here, you see the potential date with the information that they want to choose through a reel or a quick clip. then when you start talking to them, you're limited to just prompts to kind of help people feel less pressure to like get their attention. It's an evil playing field by choosing prompts only to answer with each other through like yes no as well. And
Oh,
then on the next one, it's like, hey, so I had a really fun time just talking to you. I'd like to get to know you more. And then it goes into more um, like customizable conversations where you can actually type messages.
so the second screen, the first one on the bottom row, would be the AI slash
Yeah.
pre populated prompts, and then the second
Yes.
screen would be the confirmation of their interaction.
Yes. Of like, hey, so I would like to get to know you more. Let's talk to each other through like regular texting.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
I guess I was trying to follow like how Bumble has the women reach out to the men. This one is you don't really get to talk to each other yet until you use like the AI generated prompts.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to cast my vote for this wireframe here. Okay, so that will be your winning wireframe. So what's the result of this? It's okay. So now that we're exiting out of part two and we're going to go into part three, which is develop, a working, not really a working prototype, but a hi-fi wireframe. You're going to be choosing the highest voted wireframes to, finish it up and make it look like it's a real app, right? You can always choose to show more screens. So if you want to show more screens to demonstrate how your solution works, you can do that for the presentation. We recommend to do at least maybe 3 to maybe 6 or 8 wireframes. It really depends on how big the teams are. So between 2 people, it could always be between like 3 or 6 between the both of you, just so that you guys have equal amounts of work to work on. Okay. And just gonna point this out, but on the frame right next to ours is your assignment sheet. Everyone should get this in the email, but if you don't have it, the copy of the document is actually right here. It's actually interactive, so you can actually flip through the pages of the assignment sheet, or you can actually download it, and you can actually have a copy of this yourself to read through. That assignment sheet has some information about like how to set up your presentation, things to be mindful of when working together with your teams. Okay, so do you guys have any questions so far about the sketching and about Crazy Eights? Nope. Okay. I guess that concludes it for us. I'm just gonna jump in to see how Claire's doing, and you could just wait here until we decide to close the breakout groups. Okay. So in the meantime,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
you could chat to each other or get to know each other. I'm just gonna check on Claire's team very momentarily.
Sounds good.
Okay. So
Okay, so are we all back now? We're here. Okay, it looks
Yeah.
like everyone's
Yep.
here. Alrighty, so we're glad that you had a lot of fun with Crazy Eights, and now this is time to kind of rehash what it is that we're going to be doing for week two, part three, which is you're going to be creating a prototype. I've already explained this to to Team B, but Team A also got some insight from Claire as well. I just want to point out that there's a frame right next to our activity. So if you guys want to follow my cursor, just double click on my initials. It should be the letter M for Melanie. There's this little pink frame here that says your team assignment. So I pasted over here a Google Share Doc. It's actually interactive. So if you click on it on Miro, you can actually browse the pages of the document as well as download it if you want to copy for yourself. Or you can click on the link so that it takes you out to the actual link for the document. Everyone will get an email with this link to it, the attachment. So don't worry if you can't find it. You'll definitely get this assignment sheet. In that assignment sheet is a little bit of guidelines and some information that you need to know about this kind of assignment. And we also have like links to the spreadsheet. So if you want to see the spreadsheet with the user data that we've collected from our survey, you could use that as well as part of your reference. There's also a link to this Miro board, which will help you in like getting back to the Miro board and seeing all the work that we've done through your process. When you present, just remember, just like it's a professional presentation or like a job interview, try to show your wireframes as best as possible. So show us some finished wireframes, as finished as possible, either mid-fi or even hi-fi. It doesn't have to be interactive. You could just show us screens of a process or how it is the app should work. You don't need to show user flows, but if you have the time to do it, then feel free to also do that as well. Um, that's all I have to really add for this assignment. You'll be seeing Candice for next Saturday around the same time. She'll definitely sit down with you guys and listen to your teams present, and she'll also provide feedback on your wireframes and how to make it a lot stronger. So yeah, that's all I really have to add for the assignment. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Um, if you don't have any questions, I could just move on to the next bit, which is our survey, which I know you guys have done before, but if this session was different from the others, definitely give us feedback, because all this feedback kind of helps us to improve the way that we run our events. And if something is missing from our events that you really wish that we could focus on, then definitely bring that up. We're open to ideas and suggestions about topics or anything like that. So yeah, there's a link. Claire's already put it in the chat, the link to the survey, so definitely give us some feedback for this session. Also, if you're not a subscriber, you might want to consider, because there's a lot of stuff that we talked about in this session that is going to be recorded. So recordings are only available for people who have subscribed via Coffee and connected their Discord accounts. So when you do that, you'll have a special Discord role that will give you access to special channels where you can get access to past recordings of design sprints, and you can also get some freebies as well, like free ebooks and stuff. So if you want to consider subscribing to us, like, do it right here. You can click on that subscribe button, and you could look at what your options are. Other than that, that's all I have to add. Do you have anything to add, Claire?
No, not from my end. But I hope you all enjoyed the activities today. And yeah, I look forward to see with the mock-ups that you all have put together. And again, just work with your team, by the way, communicate, and work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have a question.
Yeah, I did subscribe yesterday, but now I'm looking at the screen right here. It's the design thinker tier isn't available.
Yeah, we actually did modify our list, and we changed our pricing. So you still have access to design sprints and recordings. Doesn't matter which tier that you go for. A lot of students go for the cheapest tier, like for $5 a month. And what that also gives you access to is free access to design sprints. So instead of registering for a ticket on Luma, you could just have that special role, and you'll have a link to join the session whenever we have them. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Oh, so we're gonna work within our team to create how many prototype screens? Or do we follow exactly the task on the Google Docs?
It is recommended for your team, like at least like 3 or 6. It depends on how big the teams are. If there's a large enough team, sometimes we'll extend it to 8, but in this case, 3 to 6 is okay. It's always dependent on what you can manage. So if you guys can only manage 3 screens for your team, that's totally fine as well.
Yeah, I would say focus on the top voted solution that you have in the voting round. But if you have time to build consecutive connecting mockups that ties the flow together, you could do that as well. But again, usually it takes time, right? So, and I would really just have you all come together as a team to discuss what is the best strategy and approach for you all to work on this together.
Yeah, definitely reach out to each other, either through email or create a Discord kind of like group chat. You want to get connected with your team so that you guys have a shared understanding of how you're going to make the prototypes together. We have a recommendation in our assignment sheet that you might want to think about unifying your style. So having some kind of visual consistency is important, and that requires everyone on the team to kind of be on the same page. So definitely make sure that you reach out to your team members and stay in the loop of communication. With that being said, I guess we'll give people like a couple of minutes to just get, you know, connected with each other. But after that, I guess we'll just close the room and say that, thanks for being part of this session. And we'll see you next Saturday.
Okay, awesome.
It's a little bit quiet. Let me put on some music.
Yeah, again, don't forget to fill out the survey. Takes a minute, but appreciate you all spending the weekend with us. And looking forward to see all the amazing prototype and mock-up next weekend.
Is there a place where we can all put our emails and stuff for us to stay in contact to do our prototypes together?
Hey, Asma, do you?
Yes,
Yeah, are you also in the Discord server?
I should be in it. Yeah,
Yeah. What is your username? Can you like drop a
yeah.
dot like
I'll type in the main room.
design talk? I don't know. I think it's where it is.
Oh, thanks, Dan, for sending me your email.